Afternoon, evening, wherever you are. So, in the next 40 minutes or so, what we would like to share with you is our learning around this module called OmniStudio from Salesforce and how it impacts the middle office and few interesting problems that can be solved. With me, we have Rishi, who is a Salesforce developer at Focal CXM, and we also have Vamsi, who is a Salesforce lead. And my name is Aditya. I go by Adi, and I lead Focal CXM. I'm a product manager by design and passionate about the customer experience space. Next slide, please. Before we talk more about OmniStudio, just a brief introduction about Focal CXM. We are a software and services company passionate about the customer experience space. Since our inception, we've been working primarily in the life sciences space with animal health, MedTech, and human health as well. And we've been learning a lot about the challenges which are there in the industry. In addition to life sciences, we've also been working with industries such as utilities, hospitality, public sector, etc. And what we learned over the last 7 years plus is that despite the fact that there are all these wonderful platforms such as Salesforce in general, which is used across all industries pretty much, and Viva, which is more specific to life sciences, there are always some challenges within the enterprise that prevent IT teams and other stakeholders to deliver delight to their enterprise users. That could be either because of the geography, it could be because of the way the organizational processes operate, or it could be even just affordability across various markets and other challenges, right? And we are on a mission to be able to solve and address those challenges as we move forward into this new world. And we want to really see delighted enterprise users. And that's where we stumbled upon OmniStudio, which we believe is very helpful. And before we talk about that, I would like to take a minute about explaining what the middle office is, which is in specific to life sciences, but again, there could be similar roles in many other industries as well. So if we talk about the middle office, before that, on the sales reps on the far left, you see the typical sales reps in the commercial world, commercial space, right? So they are mostly operational in Salesforce, either mostly on the field, working on their working with their customers, making appointments, meeting with them, order capture, etc. So they're pretty comfortable with one platform that they use. On the far right, we have the financial teams, procurement teams, and a number of other stakeholders who rely on systems such as Oracle or SAP, and they are pretty much content with those systems as well. They don't have to swivel chair between various systems. However, if you take a persona as a key account manager, as an example, in the med device industry, or there could be other stakeholders even in pharma, wherever in animal health or across, they typically need information from various systems. They constantly need to talk to people. They need to look at multiple systems such as Salesforce or SAP or other systems to gather all these insights from people, from product solutions within the enterprise to be able to deliver the insights to support the sales reps or to even interact with the customers. As an example, a quarterly business review is a process which is very popular in many industries, and as an example, again, within the med device, right? So, from our experience, what we notice is that the process of gathering all the insights from various places and people and have a meeting with the customer often entails probably at least a couple of weeks or into months in some places, right? And that's where we thought of started to get into this concept of OmniStudio. We started playing around with it early this year. And what is OmniStudio? OmniStudio is a set of tools, really, right? It's an integrated set of tools. There is a history behind it. OmniStudio is part of Velocity that Salesforce acquired some time back. But in a nutshell, OmniStudio consists of these various tools like flex cards, OmniScripts, etc., which are extremely helpful from our own experience. We are a Salesforce partner, we are a Viva partner. We've been working on a lot of configuration and customization on the Force platform itself. But what really we find fascinating is that the set of tools that OmniStudio offers can really cut down the time. And we'll talk more about how these things impact the development as we move forward. Next slide, please. So from a declarative development, if you look at this graph, it's pretty interesting that we got from our partner team at Salesforce. So at the you see this graph has two dimensions. On the y-axis, you see flexibility. On the x-axis, there is effort involved. So as you look at this, the components in yellow, let's say we take a look at the page layouts and dynamic forms on the bottom left of the quadrant. So if you notice that this is truly low code by default, it comes with the Salesforce platform. The effort is very low. We can configure the user interfaces, we can configure workflows, etc. But the flexibility is fairly low because the reason is it only allows you to do certain things. On the top right, if you see, there is LWC and Apex code that many customers use. Of course, there's a lot of flexibility. That's the reason why it is very high on flexibility. But the effort itself is pretty significant. And we as a service provider, we've been noticing how challenging it is to customize and to follow the best practices on the Salesforce platform, how important it is to follow the best practices, right? So the programming and the effort kind of goes up along with the flexibility. And now coming to the OmniStudio components, such as the flex card and OmniScript mentioned here, as you can see, it offers a lot more flexibility with relatively a lot less effort. And we've been playing around with this for quite some time, and we believe that there is tremendous value. So configuration is a no-brainer. You start configuring on the Force platform, and then before you start exploring the customization aspects of it, it's absolutely worthwhile to explore what the OmniStudio components can offer for your industry. Again, this is something very horizontal. We are not even talking about the Salesforce industries for utilities, retail, etc. That's all verticalized content. But this is more at the horizontal level that any industry, any business process can actually leverage these OmniStudio components and maximize the effect. So if you go to the next slide. So these are some savings from our own experience from the development team and what the pilots we've been doing. One, we see a significant reduction in the development cost because now we don't need a lot of engineers to be able to deliver something, right? And we are able to cut down the development cycle, what we could achieve in a couple of days to weeks before. Now using OmniStudio components, we are able to cut down the time and ongoing maintenance costs because there's always a tremendous amount of risk as we continue as engineering teams deliver. There is always a risk and there is always a cost to maintain that, so we can cut down all that cost. A simple example, if you go back, Rishi, a simple example here is that in the projects that we've been working on, we've personally experienced the fact that where the sales teams would be asking for some information about insights, about invoices, or it could be about some contract information. The sales teams are on the Salesforce platform, like I talked about earlier. However, there is enough content, very useful insights sitting in SAP. And then when the sales reps constantly ask for the invoice information, has the customer paid and what should the next interaction be, it often becomes a very big project because the sales reps need to raise that to the IT teams. IT teams need to put it in their agile backlog, and that becomes an integration project because to begin with, SAP needs to expose all the services, and then the backend code has to be returned to be able to retrieve the information, and then a user interface has to be built within the Salesforce interface to show the invoice information, right? So this whole thing, it's a nice to have, critical for the sales reps, nice to have from an IT perspective, and it takes a longer time. Even if there is an integration layer such as MuleSoft or whatever you pick, Boomi or anything else, still there is effort that is required to build the user interface, right? And we have seen similar challenges constantly across the board, across multiple verticals, where the business stakeholders keep asking for more insights, for more information, much faster. However, the IT teams are not able to really deliver that as quickly, right? So this is something that excites us, and we believe that this is something that can potentially be a true citizen developer model, a true low code environment where anybody with minimal experience can come in, understand the concepts, and start delivering value. Next slide, please. So over the next 10 minutes or so, what we will do is we will take the role of Karen, who is an account manager at an organization called Makana Health, at a widget or a device manufacturing company where Makana Health is a customer and she's having a meeting. So with that, I will hand it over to Vamsi, who will play the role of Karen and walk through the day in a life of Karen, who's like the account manager at Makana Health, and kind of talk about the challenges and how she will plan for her meeting with Makana Health. After that, we'll have Rushi, who is our senior engineer working on the OmniStudio platform, who will walk you through what's under the hood, right? Looking at a cool demo is pretty good, but it's always helpful to kind of look at under the hood as well. So towards the end, we will show you what it looks like, what the OmniStudio development environment looks like, and then we will take some Q&A followed by next steps. With that, over to you, Rishi. Or Vamsi, sorry.
Thank you, Adi. So my name is Vamsi, and I'm wearing the hat of Karen, who is the key account manager of Makana Health. And I'm also responsible for growth and customer success as well. So as I logged into Salesforce and navigated to Makana Health, here I can see the key metrics right on the top, which will help me to get an immediate handle on how the account is doing at large. So here I can see the revenue generated, CX score, and the assessment scores. And on the right side, I can see an activity which tells me that there is an upcoming meeting on 15th December with the leadership team of Makana Health. So I have about 2 weeks of time, which I need to prepare for this meeting, such that we can help our customer understand where we are. And on the left side, I'm able to see a quick snapshot of all the contracts and agreement performance. And as I scroll through asset coverage and few other aspects in addition to that, I also able to see other attributes or entities that might be interest of to me. So all are consolidated under a single dashboard. I could see all the orders under the Makana Health, or I could look at win-loss room, which gives me an idea of opportunities which are ahead. And as we are closing this year and getting into a new year, this will help us in finding out what the opportunities and how are and where they are staged at. So returning to the dashboard, I'm also able to see contracts and agreement performance. And immediately the alert icon on the third row catches my attention, as it does not give me enough details. While I get into more details, it shows me that there is a revenue gap of $1 million. Needless to say, it is my job as a key account manager to understand how I can close that gap in my account and what my team can sell to the customer as well. So I can click on this link, which navigates me to a configurable flow, which will help me in the creation of a code. And we can send it to the customer immediately as well. So here, if we can see, I could select the recommended products as well, or I can search for the relative products which are related to the customer. So similarly, going back to my contracts, I could see a different alert down there in the last row over there. So here I'm able to see contract is ending in next 16 days. Obviously, this is an important metric to me and I need to be able to renew that. Similarly to the previous action which I have done, so now I will be able to click on the renew icon and I could create a new contract or renew the existing one as well by giving the necessary details. So as I scroll down, while Makana Health handles a lot of assets, here I can see these two assets are not covered under any contract. So it is an opportunity for us as a company, and it is an opportunity for Makana Health as they won't end up in paying extra money if any problem comes up. As I scroll through this, I'm also able to see all my sales reps who are working at Makana Health. So I could also see revenue distribution across Makana Health through these reps across the various therapeutic areas. So once I look at it, I could further drill down to the rebate programs associated with the Makana Health. As Makana Health is a large hospital, I can see what all are the rebate programs that Makana Health is involved in. If I have a look at the second one here, year-over-year growth rate rebate, I instantly figured that if Makana Health buys $180,000 worth of products, then they could move from the current rebate layer of 7% to a target rebate layer of 10%. So here they could be potentially earning a lot more money, and it is my job as a key account manager to ensure that I'm able to have this conversation with my customer and do the right thing. So once I had a look at the rebate programs, then I can look at some analytics that is embedded from Tableau, which is an enterprise reporting tool. So here we can see different forms of reports based upon the revenue by specialty or category or specialties. So not only these metrics and analytics here on the dashboard tab, but I also have many other tabs which gives deeper insights into specific areas. For example, the wind room over here gives me a complete overview of where my opportunities are staged at Makana. So here I could see the opportunities divided into different stages based for a particular account, and also the new opportunities with respect to the count related to that account. So, and also if I could check out the orders tab as well, I could see all the orders for Makana Health that are not only created inside Salesforce, but they could be from any other external web portals or the orders created from SAP. So this helps me in tracking down all the orders that are related to Makana Health coming from various systems. So then after looking at all these metrics analytics, I will be able to take an assessment as it's been a while that I have taken an assessment for this account. So let's click on this capture assessment button and create an assessment. So these assessments are specific to my role, or whoever completing this assessment might be a part of my team. So I can drill down through the simple and highly configurable assessment tool to understand the respective assessment score for the Makana. So here we will be displaying the assessment score at the last. And once I am done with this, I finally want to take a stab at downloading my Word document, which helps me in conversation with Makana. So this part of the flow will help in bringing analytics from inside systems as well. And also I can bring content from various sources so that I can decide what content do I need as part of my document. Once I generate the document, the Salesforce automatically downloads it to my system, which here, if we can see into the document in detail, I could see the respective account details, the contract summary, and the orders that are coming from various systems or various external systems, and also from the Salesforce as well, and also the dynamic content which I selected over the flow in the download button. So going back, I will be ready, and this will be a starting point for my conversation with Makana Health. So by dropping the Karen's hat off, now as we got the whole understanding of the flow, I'll be passing down the baton to my colleague Rishi, who will talk about under the hood technical details behind this dashboard and show you how OmniStudio will help in cutting down the risk and cost to achieve this dashboard design. Go on.
Thanks, Vamsi. It was a quick brief as a key account manager. Now let's get into the technical aspects of OmniStudio. We have different components within OmniStudio like flex cards, data raptors, OmniScripts, and integration procedures, which are part of an unmanaged package installed in Salesforce. Let's go back to OmniStudio console and see each of these components. If you see the flex card here, they summarize contextual information at a glance. Let me quickly show you how we build a flex card. Take for example this flex card here, revenue generated. If you see here, there is a build tab here. We can quickly drag and drop all the elements from the build tab here and place it over into my states panel here. And if I want to check the properties of the element block here, it shows the attribute that holds the value that needs to be displayed. If I go into the style tab here, I can define the CSS of the block and change the look and feel of the flex card. If I enable this toggle responsiveness, it will allow me to configure the element styling for multiple other devices like mobile, tab, and desktop. I can change the appearance of the element here like background size, background style, background color, and things like that. Along with this, FlexCard Designer also lets you quickly configure, preview, and debug cards. You can drag and drop positions and resize UI elements onto the canvas to format text, buttons, icons, images, etc. Now let's discuss about OmniScript. If you see this flex card over here, I can see two action buttons. If I click on capture assessments, it will redirect me to an OmniScript. Let me show the OmniScript designer for this, how we configured. Yeah, an OmniScript gives a guided path for completing a business process and serves as a configurable way of creating a seamless customer experience. This OmniScript here is used to capture the assessments to understand or identify strategic requirements which will generate a score based on user inputs. We can easily drag and drop all the elements that are need to be displayed in the step here. You can just search for any of the element and drag and drop into the canvas here. We see all the fields here can be also rendered dynamically or conditionally using role, profile, or territory. Take for example, this field over here is only displayed to business analyst profile. This is all about OmniScript. And let's go back to the Makana Health dashboards and see the data. The data here is coming from multiple systems. If I go into WinRoom, I see the data coming from Tableau. And if I go into business partners, I see the data coming from SAP. And if I go into the dashboards, I see the data coming from Salesforce. Take for example, this flex card is getting the data from Data Raptor. Let me quickly show you that Data Raptor. This is a Data Raptor get contracts by account, which we are using to get the data from Salesforce. If you see the interface type here, this Data Raptor is of type extract, which is used to get the data from Salesforce objects and show it on a flex card. We can use Data Raptors to get the data from Salesforce. Whereas if you see the business partners here, the data is coming from SAP. We can use integration procedure to make a call out to external systems and bring in the data. Let me quickly show you the integration procedure that we have used. Yeah, this is the integration procedure that we are using to make a call out to SAP. If you see in the structure panel here, I have an HTTP action, which is used to make a call out to SAP. I have provided the HTTP path and the method name, and I'll pass the header details here in the REST options to make a HTTP request. If I come down, I have a data raptor transform action, which is used to convert the XML response from SAP to JSON. Let me show you that data raptor. Yeah, this data raptor is of type transform, which can take the input as XML and bring the data as JSON by integration procedure. And if I go back to my integration procedure, at the last, I have response action. Response action is like a return value for this whole integration procedure. Whatever we mention in the send JSON path will be returned by this integration procedure. If you see here, we are able to make a call out to external system without writing any single line of Apex code, which will cut down the time for the developers and meet the business requirements in a much faster way. This is all about integration procedures. And if you see here, we have a download button over here. If I click on that, which will be this download button is used to generate a Word doc or PPT using intelligent document automation called Velocity DocGen. By using OmniScript internally, we have streamlined the document intake to improve the accuracy and efficiency. This Word document will have account details and also will have data visualizers from Tableau or Power BI or Oracle Analytics Cloud, which can be added to the Word document. Apart from analytics, we also can embed data from multiple external systems and display it here, which we can select them and add to our Word document. If you see here, we have leveraged Velocity OmniStudio components to build UI and to securely get data from external systems seamlessly without writing any single line of Apex code or LWC. That's about it. Thank you.
Thanks, Rishi. Thank you, Vamsi and Rishi, for kind of walking us through the user interface from a key account manager's perspective and sort of talking about a little bit about the technical aspects behind it. As you can see, one thing that I would like to highlight is that we were kind of benchmarking how much of time it would take for us to be able to develop something like this, the data that is coming in from SAP, right? Assuming that the data already shows up or there's a service in SAP that exposes the data, and for us to be able to consume it on the Salesforce platform and show an interface with all the data from SAP, if we were to do it using the regular Salesforce platform and consume the service and write code, the team was came to a conclusion that it would have taken about 3 to 4 days to just display the data from SAP here in a UI. Whereas using this, the OmniStudio components, Rishi and Vamsi and team came to this conclusion that they could wrap it up in a couple of hours. Right? So that's a significant productivity gain from few days to few hours. And that's the agility that we are excited about, to be able to collaborate and kind of take it to business so that we can make business stakeholders successful by truly incorporating this agile process into their development pipeline, so that we can together deliver more value at a much faster pace. With that, would love to take any questions that you guys have on any of the topics that we talked about. If you have any questions, you can just add them to the chat at the bottom, and we'll be monitoring these and adding those. Okay. Yeah, this is only the intent of this is to really give you an overview, a very quick overview, as you can see in 30 minutes, so that we have an idea of what OmniStudio is. And before getting into the customization on top of the Salesforce platform, it's absolutely worthwhile to kind of dig deeper and see how OmniStudio can help you deliver much faster without the cost of customization. And finally, as next steps, if you can go to the next slide, Rishi. So as next steps, what we normally do is we are more than happy to be able to do free pilots for you in order to see how or what the impact of OmniStudio is for you, if it's applicable or not. We're more than happy to do some ideation. We come from a product management and product mindset, and definitely get excited to even to be able to ideate with you guys to see the value add and do some analysis to understand your existing systems, and happy to do a workshop as well. So if you have any questions, you already have our information. You can reach out to us, or you can reach out to contact@focalcxm.com to get more insights on more understanding about the OmniStudio capabilities. With that, thank you very much for your time. Hopefully you learned something in this 34 minutes. Have a wonderful rest of the day, wherever you are. Thank you.